A nation decides. The U.S. election system. The United States boasts a vibrant democracy. At its heart lies a complex electoral system. This system determines the nation's leaders. It involves primary elections, national conventions, the Electoral College, and the popular vote. Understanding this system is crucial for informed civic participation. Join me as we unravel the complexities of the U.S. election system. The foundation, the Constitution and elections. The U.S. election system finds its roots in the Constitution. Crafted in 1787, it lays the groundwork for choosing representatives. It establishes the Electoral College to balance power between states. The president is not directly elected by popular vote. Electors cast ballots for the president and vice president. Amendments expanded voting rights to disenfranchised groups. The Constitution provides the foundation for the U.S. election system. The primaries, choosing the party nominees. Before the general election, where candidates from different parties compete, each party must choose its nominee. This selection process unfolds during the primaries. The primaries are a series of state-based elections. They typically take place between January and June of an election year. During the primaries, voters participate in direct primaries or caucuses. These events determine the allocation of delegates. These delegates then represent their state at the national conventions. States use different methods for allocating delegates. Some use a winner-take-all system. Others use proportional representation. The primaries are a crucial stage in the U.S. election system. They offer voters the first opportunity to weigh in on the candidates. They also shape the political landscape leading up to the general election. The primary system, while designed to give voters a greater say in choosing their party's nominee, has faced criticism. Critics argue that it gives too much power to early primary states. They also point to low voter turnout as a concern. National conventions, showcasing the candidates. After the primaries, each major political party holds a national convention. These conventions mark the culmination of the primary season. They serve as a platform to formally nominate the party's presidential and vice presidential candidates. National conventions are highly orchestrated events. They feature speeches by prominent party figures, endorsements, and the official nomination of the candidates. The conventions aim to unify the party behind its chosen candidates and energize the base for the general election campaign ahead. The conventions also provide an opportunity for the parties to solidify their platforms. They outline their policy positions and present their vision for the country. The national conventions serve as a launchpad for the general election campaign. They mark the beginning of the final stage in the race for the White House. National conventions have evolved over time. They have transitioned from closed-door affairs, where party elites made decisions behind closed doors, to more media-driven spectacles. Despite these changes, conventions continue to play a vital role in the U.S. election system. They formally nominate the candidates and set the stage for the general election. The Electoral College, a system of representation. The Electoral College is a distinctive and debated aspect of the U.S. election system. Established by the Founding Fathers, it is a system of indirect election. The president is chosen by electors representing each state. Each state's electors equal its representation in Congress. To win, a candidate must secure a majority of the electoral votes. There are 538 electoral votes. A candidate needs 270 to win. The Electoral College faces criticism for potentially undermining one person, one vote. The popular vote, the people's choice. While the Electoral College ultimately determines the winner of the presidential election, the popular vote remains a significant factor. The popular vote represents the total number of individual votes cast for each candidate nationwide. Candidates campaign vigorously to win over voters and secure the popular vote. They aim to connect with voters on a personal level, articulate their policy positions, and persuade the electorate that they are the best choice for the country. While the popular vote does not directly choose the president, it serves as a measure of the candidate's support among the electorate. It also reflects the overall sentiment of the nation regarding the candidates and their platforms. The significance of the popular vote is undeniable. It underscores the importance of citizen participation in the democratic process. It also serves as a reminder that the president, while chosen through the Electoral College, ultimately governs with the consent of the governed. Swing states, where elections are won and lost. In the U.S. election system, certain states hold more weight than others. These states, known as swing states or battleground states, are those where the outcome of the election is less predictable. They are often characterized by a relatively even split between Democratic and Republican voters. Swing states become the primary battlegrounds during presidential elections. Candidates focus their resources and campaign efforts heavily in these states. They recognize that winning these states could be the difference between victory and defeat. The existence of swing states has significant implications for the U.S. election system. It influences campaign strategies, shapes policy discussions, and often leads to a focus on issues that resonate with voters in these specific states. The concept of swing states highlights the uneven distribution of power within the Electoral College system. It underscores how the outcome of a presidential election can hinge on the decisions of a relatively small number of voters in a handful of pivotal states. Historical elections have often stood out as pivotal moments, shaping the nation's political landscape, redefining its values, and leaving an enduring legacy on American democracy. One such example is the election of 1860. In that year, Abraham Lincoln, the candidate of the newly formed Republican Party, won the presidency. Lincoln's victory, which came amidst growing sectional tensions over slavery, proved to be a turning point in American history. It led to the secession of several southern states and the outbreak of the Civil War. Another significant election was the 1932 election of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Roosevelt's victory ushered in the New Deal era, a period of unprecedented government intervention in the economy in response to the Great Depression. His presidency redefined the role of government in American society. These historical elections illustrate the profound impact that presidential elections can have on the nation's trajectory. They highlight how elections can serve as catalysts for change, reflect societal shifts, and shape the course of American history for generations to come. The 2000 presidential election between George W. Bush and Al Gore stands as a stark example of the complexities and potential controversies inherent in the U.S. election system. This election, which came down to a razor-thin margin in Florida, highlighted the intricacies of the Electoral College and the importance of voting procedures. The 2000 election underscored the crucial role that swing states play in determining the outcome of presidential elections. It also exposed vulnerabilities in the U.S. election system, particularly regarding voting technology, ballot design, and the process for recounting votes. The controversy surrounding the 2000 election led to calls for electoral reform. It sparked debates about the fairness and accuracy of the Electoral College system, the importance of modernizing voting procedures, and the need to ensure that every vote is counted accurately. The 2000 election serves as a cautionary tale about the fragility of democracy and the importance of a fair and transparent electoral process. It underscores the need for ongoing vigilance in safeguarding the integrity of U.S. elections. The Electoral College has been a subject of ongoing debate throughout U.S. history. Proponents argue that it protects the interests of smaller states, prevents the tyranny of the majority, and promotes stability by requiring candidates to build broad-based support across different regions of the country. Opponents of the Electoral College argue that it undermines the principle of one person, one vote. They point to instances where a candidate can win the presidency without winning the popular vote, as happened in 2000 and 2016. Critics argue that this system gives disproportionate power to swing states and diminishes the votes of citizens in non-competitive states. The debate over the Electoral College reflects broader discussions about fairness, representation, and the meaning of democracy itself. It raises fundamental questions about how to balance the interests of different groups within a diverse society and how to ensure that the electoral system accurately reflects the will of the people. The Electoral College remains a contentious issue in American politics. It is a topic that continues to spark passionate debate and raises important questions about the future of the U.S. election system. The U.S. election system provides a framework for citizens to choose their leaders. Voting is the cornerstone of this system. It is the mechanism through which citizens can make their voices heard. Every vote carries weight in a democracy. It is a testament to the principle of popular sovereignty. By participating in elections, citizens hold their elected officials accountable. The right to vote is a hard-won freedom. It is a right that has been expanded and protected throughout U.S. history. It is a right that should not be taken for granted. In the tapestry of American democracy, every vote represents a thread. Together, these threads weave a rich and vibrant fabric. By voting, citizens contribute to the strength of the American experiment.